Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Salem. And tonight is the 22nd anniversary of the death of my late mother, the beloved Laveda. And such an occasion does cause one to be in rather a reflective mood, and I've spent much of the day reflecting upon the events of the last 20 years, the events of my life. And that's a very interesting thing to do. One of the things that I was thinking of earlier as I was pondering these things is the difference between the world when I was young and the world today. You know, we're getting ready to do the Young Witches program here in beautiful Salem. And the people who are involved in this program are all in their late teens, early 20s, people who've been born since my mother died. And their sphere of experience is vastly different for that reason. Some of them have a pretty good idea of what went before, some do not. It occurred to me that when I was young, there were people who had been adult during the time of the First World War. There were many people who had experienced their youth during the Roaring Twenties, who were very much alive and vital at that time, and therefore we had a direct link to those eras, which now seem very remote. Today I think that young people probably look upon the Second World War very much as people who were young when I was young might have looked upon the First World War, or even earlier, as being a comparatively remote period, not ancient by any means, but much more remote. But you know, when I was young, that was considered quite a recent thing. My father and many of his friends had fought in that war. It was not at all something that one had to think back on too far, because it was very fresh for them. And you know, I rather imagine that this is the case with all human events, that as generations proceed and the people who actually live them die, they become more and more remote. Now, the problem with this is that often we lose the lessons of those events. If those people who experienced them, who lived them, do not pass on what they learned to their children and their grandchildren, then what they learned is often lost. Of course, the soul does carry it forward, but the society doesn't always, and it kind of depends on communication. And I would encourage young people to learn from those people who are old today what really was going on in their lives, because you know, if you go to the library and you get all the lovely history books, they don't necessarily give you a realistic picture of what it was really like, but someone who lived it can. It can take a long time to come to any kind of realistic understanding of any period in history from which no living person remains. So when you have the living people, it's good to learn from them. I think that it's vitally important for us as people to transmit our experiences and the lessons that we've learned through them, and to share these with other people as best we can. I think that it is unfortunate when we do not. And you know, there's a line from the film Excalibur. And I love that film, which came out when I was young, that it is the doom of man that they forget. And I think that this is absolutely so. I think it's very important to have a good understanding of history and the past. So I hope you find this helpful, and until next time, may you blessed be.
Hi, I'm Terry the Stone Lady. For all your crystal and stone needs, come to witchschoolstore.com.
Come visit us at witchschoolstore.com and namaste.
Come visit us at witchschoolstore.com.